Arash Madani. Okay, let's go first off. We wake up, the New York Jets fire their head coach. I'm not surprised, but owner,
2-3.
The owner makes
weeks in.
The owner makes the call on this. No, you know what? Aaron Rodgers' body language just screams doucher. Like he seems like an absolute he seems like an absolute prick out there. And I would hate to be his head coach.
Barney, it's everybody else's fault but Aaron's. Just ask him.
Exactly.
The eye rolling, the arms up in the air. It's funny he didn't do that when he threw the pick six. It's funny he didn't do that when on the last play of the game he threw an interception. Like, here's my question. The Jets come into that game 2-2. If Aaron throws 2 picks, not 3. If the Jets, because of that, win the game, is Robert Saleh employed today? The owner came out today and said he had a talk with Aaron Rodgers last night, but they didn't discuss Robert Saleh in that conversation. Really?
Why lie? Why do we have to lie? Like, and I think it's, I guess businesses do it everywhere in the corporate world and all that. And it's like, can you just be upfront? Just tell me the way it is. Like, what are we lying about here? Okay, so, and I know like 3 diehard Jet fans that I haven't had a chance to reach out yet. But does this really change the Jets season?
No, it doesn't. Because they have one of the worst offenses in football, which Rodgers' buddy Nathaniel Hackett is coordinating and play calling. They have one of the top defenses in the league, which, oh, by the way, Robert Saleh is a defensive guy. But this is what makes this whole thing intriguing, fellas. Like, you think about Jets coaches of the past who've been fired, and like terrible seasons. You go back to that idiot Adam Gase. Like, Woody Johnson didn't fire him until the end of the year when they were 2-14. When Todd Bowles was running that place, they were 4-12. End of the year, he gets gunned. Rex was 4-12 his last year. Herm Edwards was 2-14. Like, Woody Johnson has shown that he's always willing to let this thing play out. And at 2-3, we're making this decision when, oh, by the way, Woody Johnson won't pay Hassan Reddick, even though they traded draft capital to go get him. It's really like it just doesn't smell right. There has to be so much more here than meets the eye.
Does this make it easier, more probable that they get Davante Adams or less now?
It's a good question. I don't know. Are they willing? What are they willing to give up?
Robert Saleh.
We'll give you Robert Saleh. By the way, how relieved is Robert Saleh? For the next 18 months, he's getting head coach money from the New York Jets, and he doesn't have to deal with this sideshow and gong show.
Watch his hair grow back. He's going to look better. His skin's going to look better. Doesn't have to deal with Aaron Rodgers.
Doesn't have to deal with Aaron Rodgers. What's the price for Davante Adams? It's at least a 2, probably more. Are the Jets willing to part ways with that? If you're going to fire a coach at 2-3, you're saying we have to win this year. It's win or bust. So if that's the case, who cares about a second-round pick?
No, definitely. Whatever's in the cupboard. Go ahead, Harry. Sorry.
Is there anybody on the face of the earth today, speaking of the air smelling better, food tasting better, than Sam Darnold? Does he not just wake up this morning and hit that floor and be like, today is going to be another great day?
Well, I mean, look, it's the first day of his bye week, and look what happened. The team that, he failed them and they failed him, and ever since, it's been a debacle. right? It was Mike White and then Zach Wilson and now Aaron Rodgers. And meanwhile, Sam just continues to kind of plug away at it. Only made one real mistake against the Jets on Sunday. And he's in a really good spot. And if he can continue this, fellas, this is where this gets really interesting. Sam Darnold's only 27. When he was drafted in that 2018 draft, he was the youngest player in the league. If Sam Darnold continues down this road for another, I don't know, even 8 more games, 8 of the remaining 12, and who knows what happens in the playoffs, what's the contract that a 27-year-old free agent named Sam Darnold gets this offseason? There have to be 10 suitors at least lining up saying, you know, if you're Tennessee, maybe if you're Seattle, perhaps if you're the Raiders. I mean, like, we could just go on and on through it where there could be a good fit. And he's out of that petri dish that is the Meadowlands.
10 might be conservative.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, look, Jacoby Brissett's gotten how many jobs with how many teams over how many years, and he loses his today to Drake May because basically the Patriots have now realized, okay, we really are as bad as everybody said we were. We're not going anywhere. We may as well play the kid. You know, we draft Drake May high. Let's go with him. Everybody else is, you know, Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels and Bo Nix. Everybody else is playing their rookie quarterback. Let's see what we have here. Let's see what we can work with here. So everyone's trying to see what we have, because if not, maybe we go find a Sam Darnold and see if that can work out.
You know what I just thought of, and I had to look it up on the interweb. Where is Jimmy Garoppolo?
He is the backup with the Rams, I think, but sitting out the first few games for a drug suspension. Is that the?
Yeah. He's with the Rams. I totally had no idea. Remember when he was the shiny toy and the sought after free agent?
And because all the football people in scouting and development and player evaluation are so smart, a guy drafted with the last pick overall in the 7th round, Mr. Irrelevant, beat out Jimmy Garoppolo for the job. Don't forget that part.
Shank, I was thinking before you said that, I don't want to make it to 2021, but we can't get Colin Kaepernick a PTO?
Oh.
Right.
What when people go to the Colin Kaepernick thing, I want to, like, if I'm on a second story, I want to jump out of that window. Like right now, that guy was, from what I saw, I don't think he was that good. Like he had
led San Francisco to a Super Bowl now.
Yeah, well, Nick Foles won a Super Bowl.
Sure.
That doesn't mean anything. I think
it means a lot. I think it means plenty.
But he had that, like, I'm trying to equate it to who, like, very Jimmy Garoppolo-ish, very, I don't know, maybe we'll say Sam Darnold 2024-ish. But he just, and then after that, he wasn't that good. And then all of a sudden, it's like he's out of the game for 2 years, 3 years. And it's like, bring back Kaepernick. And it's like, imagine the rust on a guy that wasn't even that good. Hey, I wish someone would have tried it. I wish someone would have tried it.
I think football is now past Colin Kaepernick by. But I will say this. Every time I watch Will Levis make one of his moronic decisions, every time Aiden Hutchinson drops back to pass, like a quarterback loses its wings, you know, like somewhere Johnny Unitas, somewhere in the ether is just, he has the barkeep up there for another one, you know?
Why?
Like, have you watched the Miami Dolphins lately?
Oh, yeah. I lost money on the Miami Dolphins recently.
Right.
I was
Did you
forced
bet
to
on them?
watch them.
Yeah.
What? Why is
Arash, let's change. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, before we switch from the NFL, Drake May in New England. Hey, I'm a Patriots fan. And if you could see my face right now, this is I don't really care Barney face. They're starting Drake May. Why is that the good move here? I don't know, nor do I really care.
Yeah, you have to. You have to at this point because you want to see what you have and throw them in. Like, their season's over, right? Like, they probably have, along with Carolina, the worst roster in football.
But that's why. Why do you put him in there and expose him to this flaming dumpster fire?
Because there's only one way to learn and develop, and that's by doing. Like, there's only so much you can do in practice, especially if you're the number 2. Okay? Like, let's remember, I was just having this conversation with somebody today. You think about, when we talk about the great quarterbacks of all time, Peyton Manning's in the conversation, right? Peyton Manning, as a rookie in Indianapolis, set the all-time record for most interceptions. They went 2-14 or something like that. Like, not everything is a Disney movie and a magic carpet ride here. Sometimes you need to get your teeth kicked in a little bit just to understand what this whole thing's about. And if you're a really good team, you're not putting the rookie in because you're not going to disrupt the apple cart. This is, look, the C.J. Stroud thing, the Jaden Daniels thing happens so rarely now. Go see what you got. Go see what the kid's going to give you.
Don't you risk, though, crushing them if you knock their teeth down their throat? Like, sometimes guys don't bounce back from that. Like, they get so crushed and dispirited and
Sam Darnold.
disenchanted that they never rebound.
Well, if you can't, then you're probably in the wrong business. Right? I mean, Troy Aikman went 1-15 as a rookie. Look, there's a reason Drake May was taken 3rd overall. It's because his team was the 3rd worst team in football.
I just don't. I feel like
Drake May is not Troy Aikman or Peyton Manning.
He's more Kyle
Caleb
Orton.
Williams went 1, and Jaden Daniels goes 2, and they're playing. Like, you only have really 3.5 years to make an evaluation. Not even, because you have to make a decision at the end of year 3 whether or not you're going to give that quarterback or give your first-round pick the guaranteed 5th year. So you have 3 years to make a decision. Your body of work and your sample size has to be based on that. So when are you going to start that? When are you going to start that clock? Because it's ticking already.
Year 2, at least 2, maybe into 2. I'm trying to think. So, like, who are the famous ones that had to sit and wait? And mind you, he's watching Jacoby Brissett. He's not watching it be great, but we got Mahomes.
Yeah.
We have
Jordan Love, Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Jordan Love. Green Bay seems to do it right. Can we call Green Bay? Do you have a book that we can read on how to do this properly? Because, but
it's
I don't know.
Infuriating. It's so infuriating. Like, I'm a Vikings fan. Like, are we serious here? First they go Favre, Rodgers, Love. Now we're watching Rodgers implode and Devontae Adams implode. And meanwhile, these guys on this cow pasture in Wisconsin are just continuing to win football games. Like, it just drives me nuts. But yes, it kills me to say they're the model. They do it right.
So five games in, everything's hunky-dory so far. But in Washington, is there not a little bit of RG3 syndrome watch going on here? Like, too fast, too soon, burn bright, and then they're kind of like, we've seen this story before.
Yeah, but I mean, RG3 was on this trajectory until his knee shattered in a million pieces. You know, I mean, that was one of the worst ACLs. I don't know. Oh, first of all, that turf in Washington, because Alex Smith, it happened to him too, except his was even worse. I wonder what happens with Robert Griffin III, if not for that injury, because then he tried to come back a little too soon from it, and then it just went kind of sideways from there. Fellas, I'm going to tell you this. and I know the sample size is small. I cannot remember a rookie quarterback in professional football ever this poised, this polished as Jaden Daniels. Like he is him. He is it. The throws to McLaurin, the back shoulder, the awareness, the poise, the game manager, the command of the huddle. I'm like, wow.
He looks good.
Daniels is special, man.
So switching gears quickly, what is your take on this Manny Machado debacle with Ryan Roberts or Dave Roberts? Is it much ado about nothing? Is it blown out of proportion?
I can't wait to watch.
And I think there's going to be some fireworks tonight. I do, even though both teams are going to be told, beforehand not to. I am shocked that it's coming from Dave Roberts. Like, Dave Roberts was in the teeth of the Red Sox-Yankees rivalry. When Boston came back from 3 games down to knock off the Yankees in that infamous ALCS, Dave Roberts stole a couple of bags. Like, Dave's feelings were hurt because his former player threw a ball towards him with a little zip on it, knowing the net was there? Really, Dave? Yes, it's much ado about nothing. It's a rivalry. It's October baseball. It's gamesmanship. It's try and get into their head. It's all those things. Manny Machado doesn't care. This is who and what Manny Machado has always been as a ball player.
When you go, I talked. I don't know if I saw this on your socials or whatever. The payrolls and where do the Blue Jays rank? Let's say compared to the Kansas City Royals. That are playing postseason hardball.
Okay, so the Royals and Yankees are 1-1 in their divisional series. Series going back to KC, tied. Okay, the Royals' payroll this year is $84 million. The Yankees' payroll is $260, more than triple. The Blue Jay payroll was over $200 this year. This again illustrates the failure that was the Blue Jays season on so many levels. And the Royals have young dudes, man. Bobby Witt Jr. is the truth. Like he is it. He is already showing to be the next one. But this is the thing, like you pay this money to get in, and then you pay this money for your guys to perform, and Aaron Judge has vanished. Again, small sample size. I hate to say it, Mookie Betts has disappeared. Like, these are the guys you're paying the money for to do these things. It may be unfair because, you pay them for 180 or 190 games overall. But this is as our pal John Gibbons would say, it's nut cutting time, and these guys aren't cutting it.
I love rooting for the team that gets in under, budget. Like
yes.
They get into the dance in a Chev Corsica where everyone else is driving Escalades. I absolutely love it. Kate, lastly,
Corsica. How about that one?
Hey, that was my high school. That was my high school ride right there. Sweet 6x9s, aftermarket 6x9s in that bad boy though. Arash, let's go hockey here. Season starts today, North America style. Canadian teams in action tomorrow. If we look at the Canadian teams, we've got Victor Finlay coming up. I know you know Victor from the Montreal Canadiens play-by-play guy. He's coming up in hour 3 here. We're going to talk a little Habs for all the Western Hab fans that love him out here. Who are we thinking as far as delusional fan base when it comes to Canadian teams this year going in?
Well, I mean, look, if you're talking about a delusional fan base, I mean, it starts, ends, beginning, middle, end, for, time immemorial. The delusional fan base outside here, the Toronto Maple Leafs, I mean, come on.
Max Pacioretty isn't going to take, they're not hoisting that cup with Pacioretty there?
I don't know if this might be a first, fellas, that a one-time Montreal Canadiens captain is suiting up as a Maple Leaf. I think that might be a first. Here's the team that I think kind of sneaks under the radar this year a little bit, just because they haven't been relevant since 2017 and it feels longer, is the Ottawa Senators. Mm-hmm. They added themselves a goaltender this offseason. They made a couple of nice little sneaky moves. Brady Tkachuk's ready to take that next step. There's a lot of kind of internal guys ready to, Drake Batherson, to me, look, I'm a Nova Scotian. I'm rooting for him. I just think Ottawa's kind of in that conversation. I think it's going to be another dreadful season in Calgary. Like that, it's all this draft capital, etc. I think it's going to be really tough sledding out there. And the team that I have no idea about, because so much of who and what they are is goaltending, and Thatcher Demko ain't healthy, is Vancouver. I think they're the biggest question mark of all the Canadian teams. Other than that, I think you kind of know where everyone stands.
I wonder if maybe it's Ottawa. I wonder if we see a Vancouver of last year. Remember? Because let's be honest, going into last year's season, no one was really saying, oh, watch what Tocchet does with these guys. No, you're lying if you're saying that. You looked in the mirror and was like, well, maybe we can win a few hockey games. Is there a team like that out there? Because there always is. I don't know if it is going to be a Canadian team this year. Winnipeg,
if Mark plays out of it, I think if they get good goaltending in Ottawa, because then the Senators can go. Look, it's also year one of a new owner, right? It's year one of a new owner who wants to revitalize that entire city and remove the stain of Eugene Melnyk and the bitter taste in the fan base, win over the fan base, and they're getting a new arena. They're going to be starting in LeBreton Flats, nearish to downtown, nearish to the Quebec border. This is a way to really kind of say, look, it's the new Senators. We're different than everybody else. They're doing on Thursday nights retro concession prices. They're really trying to get people back on board.
Yes, I love it. Selling darts.
You don't need to spend $19 for a draft beer on Thursdays. So they're doing all the things to try and get people on board.
They're going to bring in Carling O'Keefe's.
Right.
After 2 years of splitting, is Allmark ready for that increased workload? And it's going to be even heavier because is he ready to start 64 games this year?
Yeah, I mean, look, we'll see. I mean, it's a great question. I don't know. Here, Joseph Woll, man, I looked yesterday, 26 games started last year. I mean, his numbers are incredible, but when you're not available to play because of injury, an old GM once told me, what's the difference between a garbage player and an injured player? I'm like, I don't know, man. And his answer was nothing, because neither are of any use to me. So if you're not available to play, yeah. And it wasn't garbage. He used a different term, but, it's a family show.
Sometimes you got to throw it like it is. Are you wearing your Minnesota Vikings shirt again today?
I am, just for the show.
Yes, I love it.
I may wear this every Tuesday, Victory Tuesday instead of Victory Monday,
How's this tune?
Oh.
Does that one sting when you hear it?
Nah, because we went into Lambeau 10 days ago and kicked their ass. So, yeah. Oh, wait, I guess it's a family show. Oops.
Hey, bye week. Embrace it. Embrace it.
It's the best week for a fan. Your team can't lose. Your team can't get any players injured. I mean, they may get a couple arrested, but that's a different story for another
Harry brought up such a good point where Sam Darnold just sitting there going to the Jets. Laughing from a beach in Aruba, wherever he is in the offseason. All right, let's talk Thursday.
See you, boys. Thank you.